Now I kind of just grabbed the phone on the go because I really want to make this video. And I'm going to hop outside right now. And really it's what the video is about. It's the most fundamental teaching. It's the foundation of all other teachings. Really, it's the foundation, and it's not even a teaching, it's a realization. And it's nothing me as a person, I'm going to flip it around here, needs to tell you. Because you already know it. You know it at heart. Now, today, it's this which I want to relay. That, right there. No, not that. This. See, what's the difference, right? You're probably thinking, where am I going with this? Well, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. It's this. This moment is inevitable. If we really grasp this, actually, it's not even something to get. Like I said, it's realization. It's something to realize. It's really not even something to realize. It's something to recognize. That this precise moment, this is it. This is the moment. This is the eternal moment. This is eternity, right now. If we really feel that, and it's not even something to feel. I could say it's experiential, but it's not something to experience. Because when we really witness, we could say witness this, that we are this process, and it's endless, then there is no experiencer. There's no person to anticipate the future, or think about the past, or dwell upon the past, or project onto the future. Because this precise moment is all there is. It's inevitable. We can only have thoughts about the future in the present. And we can only dig up the past in the present. So the only reality is the present moment. That's the only reality of humanity. And that's the only teaching. Because once you get that, there's no way of suffering. Okay, we could use an example. We could say, what's the difference between pain and suffering? You can be in immense pain, but not suffer from it. Because you realize that this moment is it. So there's no resistance. There's no trying to avoid it. So you chop off your hand. Wow, that's unbearable pain. But I, as a person, am not going to suffer it, because pain is a good thing. It's your body telling you, hey, something's wrong here. And the truth is, if we didn't experience pain, then people would be chopping off this, that, and the other thing, and there'd be all sorts of modification. Look at what people have already done with the body, right? Tattoos, and you look at the different cultures with, things hanging off their nose, and the huge earrings, and what they do with their neck, elongate their neck, and people split their tongue, and all sorts of crazy shit that people do even though we experience pain. Now imagine if we didn't experience pain, what people do. There'd be none of us left, right? Because people heavily identify with the physical form, the body, the content, matter, and say food. The last video, I'm huge on fasting, because it's not only an ancient practice and discipline, not something I came up with, right? It's something that's been around for eternity. Right? And, animals instinctively fast. So I'm huge on that. But we don't want to make food into a religion. We don't want to, worship it. worship the fallen aspects of creation. And we don't even have to call it fallen, because it's not the food, it's the person. And really, there's no separation between any of the elements, between the earth element, the root chakra, our origin, and the crown chakra, which is outside of the physical form, which we could say is the ultimate. And we can know this one from its origin to its ultimate, from our roots to that, to this, to something beyond words, to the eternal stillness from which all action and dynamic motion arises from. We have to be restful and really learn to enjoy restfulness. And restfulness is founded in absolute non-resistance, not resisting this present moment, understanding that there is no difference, that it is inevitable. And when we really grasp it, can't get it, you can't cling to it, because the moment it arises, it's already gone. It's already gone. And you try to cling to that moment over there, it hasn't come. So living, bouncing back and forth between past and future, that's a hallucinatory reality. That's illusory. And unfortunately, a lot of humanity is living in that state of being. They're going back and forth between past and future because they imagine themselves, their self-image tells them, I got to do this, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as we're perpetually conscious that right now, this is it, then we can witness thoughts about the future and reflect upon the past, and there's no problem. We don't suffer from it, right? It's like pain. You don't suffer from it because we realize that this is it. This is the only moment. So you don't drag up the past and identify with that and think, hey, this happened and that happened, and I haven't gotten over it. Well, that's because of self-definition. You're defining yourself as a person that this happened to, but that has nothing to do with right now, unless you let it, unless you allow it. And same thing with the future. Oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to go to work now. But, okay, you can accept it. You don't have to suffer from it. Right? And that acceptance, the absolute acceptance, non-resistance, is not a hopelessness. It's not, I gotta accept this, I gotta do this, I gotta do... No, it's joyous. That's our only freedom, is understanding that this is it. That is really our only freedom. Because then we're free from the person and all of its perceived problems and personal identity with a memory that we may not reflect upon ideally, that we might think about in a way that's, not so good. If we're going to think about the past, right, then at least say, wow, look how far I've came. This happened, that happened. But look, I'm still standing, right? If we're going to compare, the same thing. We can compare in a good way. Wow. Instead of comparing myself to that guy who has this and has that and I want it and I don't have it, and comparing myself to my neighbor who has 10 buffaloes but I only have one, and we could say, hey, I'm going to compare myself to that guy in the wheelchair. I have all my limbs today. Wow. So this is, of course, playing mental gymnastics, and we can do that, but want to understand that reality is not perception. Perception is not reality. Perception has to do with a person. And you take a situation, 100 different people, perceive that same situation 100 different ways, potentially, right? So what's changed is not the situation, it's the person. And the person, of course, is subject to change. We're constantly changing. The body is constant every single moment, every single movement. The body's changing on a cellular level, on an atomic level. So we can't be that because we're the constant, right? And the constant is this, is that, the present. In the presence, we're all enwrapped in that, in this, simultaneous. And when we feel that deep, visceral sense of connectedness, that oneness, you don't need me or somebody else or some spiritual teacher or some pastor or your parent or anybody to tell you, hey, don't do harm to that person. You don't need morality. You don't need spirituality. You don't need religiousity, if that's even a word. You don't need any of these labels because you feel, wow, I feel that this is a part of me, that there is no difference between this and that. So naturally, I'm not going to steal from that person because why would I steal from myself? I'm not going to do harm to that person. I'm not going to go hit that person. I'm not going to do whatever because I don't feel a difference between this person and that person. Now, that's not to say that I don't understand. There's not a sense of discernment that in this three-dimensional reality that, hey, you know, there's people living in their own worlds, potentially. Like I said, same situation, 100 different people view that same situation 100 different ways. So just by understanding that one concept, you can say, hey, reality is not perception. Reality is subjectivity. And that subjectivity is subject only to understanding that this moment is inevitable. That's the only reality. That's the only reality of humanity. And when we don't live fixed in a body or a psychological format, we understand that, hey, this physicality, this mentality is here to serve me. It's a tool. I can use it in this reality instead of being a slave to it. Instead of living in entrapment. When we realize that, that's freedom. Because, let's say coffee. We're not going to allow coffee to, a cup of liquid to enslave us. Say, oh, I can't function right if I don't have my daily cup of coffee. Well, basically what you're saying is that you're a slave to coffee. And that's just being honest, right? That's just being honest. If it's a choice, that's different. There's a difference. You can say, hey, I'm going to choose to have coffee today. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having it every day and being enslaved to it, right? But we don't want to live. That's the difference between compulsion and freedom. Compulsiveness and consciousness. Freedom and bondage. There's a big difference. And when we really understand this, that this is it, this moment is inevitable, we won't say, hey, I need that cup of coffee today. Because that has nothing to do with right now, where you are right now, and in that total acceptance and that non-resistance that this is it. There's not only a deep, profound sense of contentedness and contentment, but that is enlightenment. And there's nobody to be enlightened. There's no person to be enlightened. Because again, that's based on a self-definition, a concept. And we can understand that concepts have their place, because how would I be able to effectively communicate if it wasn't for concepts? That's the only purpose that I see of this physical body. The mentality is a modality for effective communication so that I can relay the foundation, the presence, the present moment, the fundamental teaching, and what I've come to know subjectively. And if only a small percentage of what I've come to know, and I'm not claiming to be a know-it-all. It's not from a place of arrogance. But if only a small percentage of what I've realized within myself gets communicated effectively. And one person. I know I'm aiming low. The bar is low, right? And one person makes a difference in their life, then I'm living my purpose. Because I've come to that total non-resistance and acceptance that this is it. And thus, I'm at a peace which, like in the Bible says, surpasses all understanding. Can't really communicate it. You can try, but it's beyond verbiage. It's beyond words. Beyond a person. And the person, the personality, is the definition of a persona is mask. So we can understand its place. And just like a job, it's a role. It's not who we are. You know, it's what we do, but that's not our identity. Right? The personality is like a raincoat. If it's sunny out, why am I going to wear a raincoat? Why am I going to wear it? If I'm sitting at home alone and I want to meditate, why wear the raincoat? Why wear the personality? You don't need it. It has nothing to do with this moment. What happened, that and this and that. We don't need to carry that and drag it with us. That's an enlightened entity. In Indian culture, it's called enti. And what does enti mean? Enti means a circle. And what does a circle represent? Circle of life. Absolute non-resistance, right? There's a reason why the wheels on your car are a circle and they're not a square. It's because it's the least form of resistance. You're going with the flow. You're riding the wave. You know, there's a flux in the process on the surface. But underneath all that, there's that eternal stillness. And you're really there. You're here. You're now. You're less affected by the flux. Because you can ride it effortless. Because of that non-resistance. Because of this non-resistance. Anyways, as you can see, I'm in the flow today. I just wanted to say and relay, hey, you know, it's not all about having your way. Because that's the only problem anybody ever has, is that things aren't going the way they want it to. I'm unhappy because this hasn't happened and that hasn't happened. And again, that's resistance. That's resisting the present moment. The absolute acceptance that this moment right now is inevitable. And that's the only source of unpleasantness, is resistance. Resisting this moment. And when you really understand this, you kick all self-pity, all guilt, all hostility, being unhappy, all resistance, all perceived problems. They're gone by the wayside. They're already behind. Love it, guys. I wonder, these cars driving by. Sometimes I wonder how they perceive that guy. Not that I care, you know. Well, I deeply care. See, a lot of people might perceive that this person doesn't care. Oh, they're doing their own thing. They don't talk to anybody. They're always silent. They're, you know, whatever. You know, there's some days where, you know, there's been weeks where I haven't gone without speaking. I've had people tell me, hey, Alex, you change, you change. Well, that's the thing, is we're always changing. But if we identify as a person and we stay fixed in that, then we're not going to change. We're just going to live in a cyclical, habitual process, day in and day out, of doing the same things and thinking we are that and we need that. But when we realize that we don't fundamentally need anything, that everything we thought we needed is right now and right here, as our heart is beating, then there's no problems. And you don't worry about how the car driving by perceives you. Thinking, wow, that guy, he's something else. I'll agree with him. People tell me I'm weird. Hey, I'm not arguing that. In this world, I'm certainly weird. It's not about, oh, I'm not going to conform to the norm because, I'm above it and I'm different. And, this world's messed up. And so I'm not going to conform. I'm a nonconformist. But see, somebody saying that, a person saying that, is still a conformist. If you really think about it, think about that one. I'm not going to try to explain it. Sometimes trying to explain, sometimes less is more, right? Like, I could already probably ended this video, but still in the flow. And, hey, some of you, I know, watch to the end and enjoy it, and hopefully it puts a smile on your face, and at least something I said, or maybe a concept I know you can relate. Or maybe you're in the office today, and you didn't get a chance to get outside, and thus, as I express this, as I'm communicating the light, as the words are the essence, beyond the appearance of this, and, you really feel that light. And it's okay that you didn't get out of the office today, even though it was a sunny day. If we really understand the significance of each of our actions, and we can all make a difference. We won't need somebody to tell us. We won't need somebody to wake us up in the morning. We won't need an alarm clock or be non-resistance, because there'll be a willingness to get up, because you understand that we are the eternal process, and that joy in the presence, in the present moment. And when there's that willingness, based on understanding the significance of our actions and how every activity is affecting the lives around us and every other living entity, then naturally there'll be that willingness to want to do whatever you do. All the while being completely conscious that, hey, even if I'm thinking about this in the future, I got to do this, or reflect upon that it's all happening right now. That this moment is inevitable. That I am eternal. And immortal, right? This moment is here long after this physical form came into the picture and leaving the picture. What's the basis of this physical structure? Awareness. Wow, I'm aware that I exist. I am this. I am pure consciousness. Conscious. This is it. Endless. The eternal stillness. Beyond all appearance. Beyond the flux. Beyond the surface process. Which dynamic and effortless as it's flowing along, singing its song. Maybe even hitting a bong. I just wanted to rhyme. Hey, that's in the past, man. Don't judge me. Yeah, I used to smoke weed every day. Wake up, hit a bong, wake up, take a fat dab, right? But that doesn't define me. It doesn't define you. It doesn't have to. I just checked the time because, hey, I'm on a roll, and I was like, man, there's been several times where I've been making a video, or thinking I'm making a video, and wow, Alex is talking to his phone. He's not making a video, or got cut short, or something, or the battery, or whatever. I'm talking, looking over here, this and that for a few minutes, and I look at the phone, and wow, it's black, right? So you can laugh at that. It's one of those things like, you want to be frustrated and upset, but again, this is it. There's that non-resistance, and absolute acceptance that, hey, I can't change it. It's already in the past. It's the precise knife as it's arising. It's already, and with a certain keenness of attention, there's nothing that we can't discover within. Nothing anybody needs to tell you, except that. Don't listen to me, don't believe me. Go within. With your attention. It's this, just beyond all appearance. There's no escaping it. The presence, the present, the lovely blessings that we all welcome with acceptance. Based on acceptance, that this is it. I just want to say thank you. Said that to someone recently. Said thank you. Said, why are you telling me thank you? Said, I don't know. Just wanted to thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here today. 'Cause you know, tomorrow never comes. You might not see that person tomorrow. That's something to reflect upon. You want to be mad at somebody. You want to say something negative to somebody. Well, that person, as a person, may not be here tomorrow. I guess I'll leave you on that.